Probably the most exciting thing to happen to WVU Physics in the last 50 years is this new physics building. We're in Old Whitehall, which has been renovated for physics. We're able to keep the brass and the travertine walls and create a 21st century physics department in this beautiful old facility.
So tell me about the mural.
Well, this is a historic mural. It's been featured in some motion pictures. It's a historic piece of art that we've tried to preserve in this new modern building. This is our new optical telescope. It's the Littleton telescope. The Observatory is part of the undergraduate astronomy program. We have an astronomy minor. It's named after Professor Jack Littleton, one of our astronomers who led the astronomy program for about 35 years. Up here is where the radio telescope's going to go. We're going to move it over from Hodges Hall, and it's going to allow undergraduates to get basic understanding of radio astronomy before they go do bigger projects at the big radio telescope in southern West Virginia. So this is our new 60-seat planetarium. It's part of our outreach effort to the community. We'll be able to do 60 students at a time. The planetarium projector is a full IMAX, full dome type projection. So let's take a look at our computational physics facility.
Wow, what is that noise?
Oh, that's our air handler here. Come a little closer. So these are used to cool our computers that are over here.
And what are the computers for?
Computational physics is a really important part of 21st century physics, and we now have a facility set aside just for our computational scientists. So this is the old part of the building. Now down here we have one of our outreach programs. Physics has a number of outreach programs. We have the Pulsar Research Collaboratory, which works with school kids from around the country looking at astrophysical objects. We have the Mountaineer Area Robotics Program, which is a high school-based robotics program that also works with 500 middle school kids. We also have nanosciences summer camps. Down here we have the Robotics Workshop, which we're going to take a look at next.
Okay. Wow, does that robot shoot baskets?
Yes, it does. In fact, this year's game for high school robotics is to make a basketball shooting robot. Let me show you how it shoots. Yeah!
So how do we make a lot of the machines I've seen here today?
Well, we make a lot here in our shop. We have 3 machinists who work full-time making parts for the research labs, the outreach programs, all for the faculty and students to make equipment for the research. So this is the Helicon Plasma Source Lab. Folks in this lab study plasmas about 100,000 degrees.
Wow, how do you measure that temperature?
Well, we do it with lasers. Let me show you here. We use probes for electrons, and for ions we use lasers. This laser here works like a radar gun. It shoots this laser beam down the axis of the plasma. By changing the color of the laser, we can measure how fast particles are going and get the speed.
How do you control the laser?
The lasers are in the room next door. Let's go take a look. So now that we have our laser goggles on, we can come into the laser lab. This is one of the many laser labs within Whitehall.
So why do we use a red laser?
Oh, well, this laser actually starts off as green at 532 nanometers, and then we have an organic dye that turns the green laser light into red laser light. We're actually able to tune all the way from yellow to red with this laser system, and it's used in that experiment we were just looking at in the lab next door. Well, before we look at some of the other labs, I want to show you some of the features about the building that even the little details have been thought about. For instance, the doors have to shut in a particular order, and they do this on their own just so we can have light-tight seals for the laser labs. Down here we have typical hallway for the building. We have places for faculty and students to put their research out so visitors can have a sense of what's going on in the building.
So I see we have chalkboards.
And chalkboards for people, if they have some ideas, they can work with each other right here in the hallway.
And the chairs look interesting too. What?
Well, the chairs were picked out by myself and a designer so that we'd have a bit of a flair for physics, something people would remember with the building.
And when are they going to finish the ceiling?
Oh, well, the ceilings are actually done already. The idea was we'd have flexible ceilings so that we can move big pieces of equipment down the hall, 8-foot high doors, and we can add additional electrical lines, plumbing lines, air handling lines, whatever we need. Even our labs have these flexible doors so we can bring particularly large pieces of equipment into these labs. And then we have a freight elevator that allows us to move large and heavy pieces of equipment in between floors. So everything about Whitehall is designed exclusively for physics research. Even these conference rooms, these windows are actually doors that open up so we can bring big equipment in right here through the conference room into the hallway. So Jerry, this is the clean room. We have to wear these suits. The camera crew is too dirty to come in, so we're going to follow Professor Letterman here, who's going to show us into the clean room.
We use ultra-high vacuum technology to make very, very thin films of various types of materials that are of technological interest.
So what kind of applications does this materials that you grow have?
Mostly the applications have to do with energy and information storage. So we make various exotic types of materials that might be the data storage materials of the future.
Tell me a little bit about the impact of WVU Physics.
Well, everything from our high school robotics program to the research we're doing to the teaching we do affects people of West Virginia, the people of the nation. We're very excited about being in Whitehall in the 21st century, and we hope you enjoyed seeing the building, the research labs, and seeing the different opportunities we have here for physics at WVU.
All right, well, thank you for the wonderful tour. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.